What's going on, guys? It's Craig with Take 360. Today we're going to talk about why your pool will not stop backwashing. Okay, so I've seen this in several situations. I've seen it a couple times over the years. I do a lot of like in the springtime, getting ready people's pools ready for the summer. We'll go through and I usually drain pools, clean them, get them all ready to go for summer. And I've seen this issue happen a couple times, and it's happened with this pool pump a few times. I'm gonna explain to you guys what it's doing, and if you're having this problem, I'll give you the reason why it's doing and how to fix it. This one, a lot of times, like when you would backwash the pool, like you backwash to clean it, you rinse it, and so forth and so on. And when you're done with all that, you put it back on filter, but then you notice that it's either running on backwash or drain or waste, however you want to say it. It's still running out of the backwash line, and it's either running full blast or it may be running a little bit out, it may be running about halfway open. So it's like it's circulating, but at the same time, it's also draining your pool. Now, the reason this is this little valve, big valve, this valve right here, it's a spinning valve, okay? And this valve, it's not a lot going on in there. There's not a lot of moving parts, but if you don't do it right, you can tear it up, and I'll explain in a second. So this valve is a pretty common valve. It's like, see here, you got filter, waste, closed, you got backwash down here, recirculate, rinse, blah, 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 so forth and so on. Now, if you want to know what all those do, I can make a specific video about it and explain to you guys what it does. But as for now, I'm just going to talk about the reason why these things still run on backwash mode while you're filtering. All right, so a lot of times what happens is these are people that really don't know what they're doing, or they're not too sure, they don't understand how these things work. The only thing I can tell you, the simplest fix to not make that happen is when you go to move these, don't just take it, just push it down a little bit and turn it. You want to make sure that when you go to move this thing, you push it all the way down and then turn it. Take it to where, this handle is like dragging the plastic all the way around. You want to make sure it's down all the way, because there is a piece in here that moves and spins. Well, there's also a gasket in here, and if you just push it like this, or just a little bit, and spin it, what it's doing is it's dragging that piece of plastic in there that moves, that baffle around it. It's dragging it along that gasket in there, which in turn pulls it out of its little this little grooves that it sits in. I'm gonna take this one apart. I'll open it, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, so basically what ends up happening here is, I already fixed this one back, but this gasket right here was basically kind of like this. And this is a common issue, it happens. It's basically, I'll show you on this here in a second what ends up happening, what causes that. But basically what ends up happening is these gaskets, they get this piece on this filter piece here, this knob here, it spins, and if you don't compress that or push that handle down all the way, it basically drags this piece of plastic around here, ends up yanking the seal off like that. So basically now, if you put your pool in filter, it's also going to be filtering, but it's also going to be dumping into here, which is your drain. It's going to be draining out, your water. So what'll end up happening is you won't really notice it if you don't pay attention, or if you have noticed. Basically what'll end up happening is you'll put your pool back on circulate or filter, and you'll come back in about a day or so, and you come home from work and your pool's empty and your kids are in the backyard playing soccer in the ball in the pool. It happens, it has happened, but that's usually the common reason, is because this gasket has failed. It's either came loose, it's out of place, it's either been pulled out of spot like that, it's kind of crooked. This one I will have to replace at some point, because this side right here keeps going bad. It keeps coming out like that, which is not that big of a deal in the spot that it's in. It's not going to hurt me much. But if you do have a backwash issue, where when you put your pool back on filter and you notice it's still backwashing, or like it's draining the pool, like it's just running the water out, that's why on this particular this valve, because this gasket right here, this gasket has came out of its seats, And a lot of times you can just open this up, and then you can just go back and then you'll see it as soon as you open it. Like the gasket will be like this one was a while ago. It was kind of like this, hanging off the side. You'll see it right off the bat. Just take it. A lot of times you can just push it back in, and it's fine. Now the reason why it does do that is on the bottom of this gasket here, or the bottom of this handle, you have this plate. Now this plate is basically just a diverter. It basically just turns the water. It basically just tells water where to go. But when you push this handle down, it raises this baffle here, this thing right here. I can only do it because I've only got so many hands. It raises it up. It basically pulls it up and then turns it as you're turning. But if you don't pull it up all the way and it just comes up a little bit, it's still riding on that gasket, and you're turning it and it's dragging that gasket out of its little seats. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I hope it does. Anyways, like I said, that's usually the most common reason for this, as to why your pool would be constantly backwashing. Even after you've already backwashed, you rinsed it, you put it back on filter. If you put it back on filter and your water's still running out, that's the main thing to check. So that's it. There's nothing else I can really tell you. Now, when you go to put it back together, just put it back the way it came off. Some people say there's no really pattern on how to put these screws back in, but I still try to do it, kind of like old school way. I'll do here, and just kind of jump around, and not just tighten them all the way around, because it can sometimes they can make them funky. Some people say it doesn't matter, but out of habit, that's how I do it. I'll do here, and just keep jumping back and forth until they're all tight. All right, guys, so that's it. I hope that video helped you out a little bit to kind of explain to you what's going on in there and why that leaks. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll do my best to get back with you. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. And till next video, guys.